God had met Moses in the burning bush and told him to go back to Egypt, where he would meet his brother Aaron, and both of them would go to the king of Egypt, to Pharaoh, and tell Pharaoh to let his people go, because the Hebrew people was now slaves in Egypt and very badly treated. Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh. God says, let his people go home. If you refuse, Aaron said, God will send terrible plagues upon you until you do. But Pharaoh was stubborn and would not listen. For 7 long days, God turned all of Egypt's rivers and drinking water into blood. So the fish died, and the smell was disgusting. But Pharaoh still refused to obey God. In the land of Goshen, however, where the Hebrew people lived, the water was clean and pure, and you could drink it. Again Aaron said, let my people go and serve God, or he will send frogs all over Egypt. The plagues of frogs were so annoying that Pharaoh nearly let them go, but then he changed his mind and said no. So God sent a plague of lice, and everyone in Egypt was itching and scratching. Even Pharaoh's wise men said it was the work of God, but Pharaoh was still too stubborn to listen. Then God sent swarms of flies all over Egypt, but there were no flies at all in the land of Goshen. The plague of flies was so bad that Pharaoh was forced to send for Moses and Aaron. Take the flies away. You can go a little way into the countryside to worship God, but take the flies away, Pharaoh promised. But when the flies went, he changed his mind again. When Pharaoh said he would not let the people go, God sent lightning strikes and huge hailstones, which stripped leaves off the trees, started fires, and destroyed all the Egyptians' crops of food. Pharaoh was stubborn. He still would not change his mind. So God sent a sickness on all the Egyptians' cows, and the Egyptian people got hungry. But the children of Israel's cows in the land of Goshen did not get sick. Moses asked Pharaoh again to let the people go, but he still said no. God sent sores and boils on Pharaoh and the Egyptians. They felt very sick and sore, but Pharaoh was stubborn and would not change his mind. Then God sent a great swarm of locusts throughout the land of Egypt. They ate everything that was green and good to eat, but the locusts did not eat the crops belonging to the Israelites. Still, Pharaoh was stubborn and would not change his mind. So God sent a thick black darkness over the land of Egypt, but the children of Israel had light in their homes and no darkness at all. Despite the 9 plagues that Pharaoh had seen and the miracles that God had worked through Moses and Aaron, he would not change his mind and let the people go. So God told Moses, tonight will be the night, and after that God will let my people go. Tonight, every family of Israel must eat a meal of roast lamb with herb sauce and flatbread. This will be called the Feast of the Passover. Take a small branch and paint the blood of the lamb around the doorframe. It will keep you safe from the sickness I will send on the land, said God. Stay inside your house, because God's angel will pass through the city. The oldest son in each family will get sick and die, because Pharaoh will not listen and let God's people go. But the people in the houses with the blood of the Lamb on the door will not get sick, because they are trusting and obeying me, said God. So the families of Israel did as God told Moses and prayed that God would keep them safe. Soon they would be free from Pharaoh and go to a new land God had promised them. That night the angel of God passed over the city, and even Pharaoh's eldest son became sick and died. But God kept the families of Israel safe. After that terrible plague, Pharaoh changed his mind. He sent for Moses and Aaron and said, "Go, take everything with you and worship the Lord your God as he has told you to go. But leave Egypt now and go." The next day, all the children of Israel left Egypt and followed Moses to the land that God had promised them. After 430 years of being slaves, they were free, just as God had promised. And ever since then, the Jewish people have celebrated the Passover meal. Jesus did this with his friends too, but he gave the Passover a completely new meaning.